And on De La Rosa, for a second, I actually saw a scouting report that Keith Law put out on him in 2009. So I was intrigued by him by then, at that time, but it seemed that he didn't really make the best use of that season. 2010, he started late, I believe.
Right.
And then pitched mostly out of relief to begin the season. Then at about the Midwest League All-Star break, it seemed that something changed. And when he came out of that, he went into the rotation and just started dominating all the way up to Double-A. Do you recall?
Well, no, exactly. There's nothing to really change. He's always been really good. Matter of fact, Keith gets information from people, you know, and stuff that'll tell them about players, and you know, including myself. But sometimes they forget that it takes a ton of times for some things to materialize. I mean, Ruby was a situation here, and it was unfairly. I think it came out in our media guide reported that he got suspended or whatever for 50 days or whatever. Kid's never had a substance problem or anything like that. That was not even accurate. He got suspended for having an argument with a trainer.
No.
Okay, and in fairness to Ruby, it really wasn't. We're not even sure it was all Ruby's fault in this issue, at least on my side. But Dijon's doing the right thing, and we're trying to make sure that we respect the trainers and everybody. So had that. I think in America in general, sometimes the Latin American player gets held back sometimes. Okay, because it's like anything, you know. Dominican Summer League coaches want to keep them longer. They want to win in the Dominican Summer League, believe it or not. So they don't push for the guy to leave the Dominican Summer League, this, that. So some of those things all come into play. Troncoso would tell you, I went and saw Ramon, they were talking about releasing Ramon, and then he was down there, he was 21 or 2 years old, and he's still in 93, 94, he's still in the Dominican Summer League. I'm like, what? We got to move this guy over. So we as an organization, sometimes we'll keep a kid back, maybe when we could have advanced him. Sometimes it's for their benefit, sometimes it's not. So I think that we probably held him back a little longer, but we also needed him to mature mentally, which is what our development staff did a great job with him as far as, you know, hey, you know, that whole thing with the trainer and everything else. And so he had a great spring training last year. He didn't break just because of the fact that we wanted to make sure that he understood what the situation with the trainer the year before. So then when we sent him out, he went up there and he just took off. And I know I saw him pitch up there right about that time, and then he went to Double-A. The physical stuff is just off the chart. I mean, and he's really a smart kid. When we signed him, he was 5'10", 128 pounds. He comes from a very poor background. He was, you know, hardly the food situation was bad, everything else. So just by him eating proper, getting in an environment like that, he spoke very little English. And if you talk to him now, it's pretty good considering that short of time how much he's learned. His English is a lot better than my Spanish now, and it wasn't that way when he signed. So I don't know if that explains it to you, but you know, he's got such a great changeup. Our people, and I want to credit our development people, because he learned this changeup, and his changeup is one of the best out there. Period. It's nasty. And our development people helped him a lot with that. And I think once that changeup became so effective, that's helped take off also.
Yeah, I saw it. I actually watched some of the games in the Midwest League online last year.
Right. And
I just saw it dive down away. It reminded me, not of Gagne, but maybe of Hoffman with less break, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to compare for me, because it looks like, sometimes it'll look like a slider. Sometimes it'll look like a split. I have a lot of the scouts ask me if it's a split and everything, you know. But no, you know, and it's funny. I'll read reports. It's like Kenley Jansen. I'll read reports, and this one of the prominent people put out that Kenley Jansen looks like a catcher trying to learn how to pitch, and I'm like, there's no way in the heck that guy saw him. He's never looked like a catcher trying to pitch. And that's what I was talking to you earlier, when you'll see information gets put out there. And I don't know who this guy talked to. He made it sound like he saw him in person. And I'm like, there's no way he saw Kenley Jansen, because that didn't have Kenley Jansen through. So I don't know some of the stuff that there's so much. I call it noise that's written out there on guys, but
hopefully less from my end.
Oh no, I know for sure.
All right. Switching gears, if you don't mind talking about Jerry Sands, I'm sure you've been asked about him a lot.
Who you want?
I remember seeing him in 2008 after he was drafted out of Catawba. Hit 205, but he had 10 home runs in 40-some-odd games. And I remember him going up to Midwest League in 2009, went 2 for 17, 7 strikeouts, was sent back down to rookie ball, and then he hit 350 with 14 homers in Ogden. The ability of him to bounce back, is that something that you can scout?
Yeah, I think it's something we try. I'll never pretend to tell you that we can accurately evaluate that every time, but absolutely, yeah. I mean, you're talking about a player that was a football player. Yeah, you can definitely evaluate that. I mean, I would like to sit here and tell you that we thought Jerry Sands would be doing everything he's doing right now as a staff, and I can't tell you that. We took him in the 25th round. Now, we did that knowing nobody else was my scout. Lon Joyce did a great job. Brings us to our workout in Atlanta. First time we see him, we like the power. Lon says no other teams on him, so we don't have to draft him high. And that's kind of how we got Jerry. Once we got him in the system and you get to know him, then you get even more convinced of where he's going to be and where he's going to go. So it didn't surprise me, but I will say that I want to say it was probably Gene Klein's, maybe Franklin Stubbs. The hitting coaches helped Jerry. Jerry, I thought, had a little bit of a hitch in his swing when he first signed, or he did something funny with his hands, and they smoothed that out. And I think that you see also that being a product of our development people coming in and helping assist him and just making a minor adjustment that's helped him take off.
Can I interject one quick question about Sands? Sure. I've heard some rumblings that he might try him at third base. Is that a possibility?
People have kicked that around at third base. You know, it's really not my decision. It would come, that would come under, Ned or Donnie or whoever if they want to do that.
There's no plans right now to.
Nah, I just think that you're talking about, my opinion, you're talking about a guy he's a monster of a guy. He's probably, 6'3", probably goes 235, I'm guessing right now. Playing third, I love Jerry.
About the size of Scott Rowland.
But yeah, and there's only one Scotty. But it's possible. I could see somebody wanting to try it. I think it's awful tough to throw a lot at these young guys. I'm like, for me, what's wrong with him being our outfielder of the future, So I would just assume him concentrate on being that guy that can hit the ball in the park and this and that, and there's our 30-plus homer guy, not James Loney.
I gotta stir the pot a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's okay, Mark. I'm just coming back at you with good reasons. But I think that's the thing for me. Instead of worrying about like Loney, I think we can get too caught up in, okay, let's move this guy to third and let's play. Geez, crime. Now we throw that at this kid, and we're trying to get him to the big leagues. We're looking for a guy who can hit 35 plus. We might have found him and we want to throw something new on him. For me, it would be tough to do. But like I said, if we do it, it's possible. But obviously, you can sense from my feelings that I just assume leave him where he's been playing.
Another late round guy from 2008, Alan Webster, out of North Carolina, 18th round.
Right.
Was he converted out of high school?
He was converted, actually pitched 7 innings in high school. Okay. And our scout, again, Lon Joyce did a great job. One of the things that we added as a staff is workouts. I work out in LA, I have a workout in Dallas, I have a workout in Atlanta. And we've added these workouts over the years because I can't see, it's hard to see everybody. And our scouts will do a great job, and they'll have 50 guys on their draft list. And sometimes there's a guy that's down the line, they like him, but we don't get to see him, and he can get kind of lost in the draft process. So we have these workouts, and they really, we get a look at them. And Webby came out and threw, and I remember I went to the mound and talked to him. He was 88, 91, hadn't hardly pitched, big country guy, and I just asked him, I said, hey, think you can become a pitcher? Yes, sir. I said, think you pitch in the big leagues? Yes, sir. And so Lon did a great